Hey guys, CDTV here, and today we are going to be looking at 10 great rap songs ruined by the featured artist. I'm sure you can tell because you clicked on the video, it's in the title, probably somewhere in the thumbnail. But I got hit 10 minutes! No, I can't say that. That actually sounds like I genuinely don't care if I hit 10 minutes, okay? So yeah, this list will just be focusing on 10 times when a feature made a song noticeably worse, in some cases even unlistenable. So with that being said, this is CDTV Productions, my social media accounts will be down there somewhere, and let's get into this list of 10 great rap songs ruined by the feature. Kicking off our list at the 10th spot, we have Royce da 5'9" with the Caterpillar remix where the feature was Logic.
It's crazy how everybody's so obsessed with my race, cause I'm proud to be black, but matter of fact, if it was flipped around, and every time somebody asked me what it was like to be a white rapper, what's it like to be a white rapper, Logic?
This one seemed like it couldn't go wrong, honestly. It has Logic, a rapper I love. The original is an amazing song that had Eminem in Logic's spot, and Logic promised his hardest feature verse he's ever done on Twitter with this one. Even Royce da 5'9" himself hyped it up. And then Logic spent half of his verse going on a tangent about not being a white rapper and people's perception of his race. He even, for some reason, kicks off this tangent by saying, "Why is everyone so obsessed with my race?"
They're not!
They're memeing the fact that you talked about it so much on your Everybody album. The memes didn't just materialize from nothing. If this was supposed to counter criticisms of Logic, it absolutely failed. Some of the stuff he says here makes sense to a degree, but the delivery is so awkward and painful. Aside from that, he also says other rappers are scared to talk about depression and anxiety, which, to put it bluntly, is just false. Depression has always been a huge topic in rap, even in the mainstream, actually, especially in the mainstream nowadays. Emo rap is massive. It's not all bad, but he actually spits really hard bars for a minute or so, and that's why this is the lowest one on this list, but he completely ruined it with the whole race tangent that everyone was absolutely sick of by this point. And at number 9, we have Chance the Rapper with Smoke Again, which featured Absol.
No doubt, like Winston Stefani's group. Look, let me put my mouth where you potty, boo. Ah! I get that? Yeah, them niggas piss need potty train.
I hate to say that Absol ruined a song because I love his music, but let me put my mouth where you potty boo. It's just one of the most cringe-worthy lines I've heard in my lifetime. I love the rest of the song. I think it's really cool to hear Chance pull off a banger track whilst still having a lot of fun, and his lean all on the square, that's a fucking rhombus line was really creative. It would have been cool if Soul could have came in and matched that with some creative lyrics while still maintaining a fun atmosphere, but I really don't think he did. There's just so many lyrics on here that could be best described as basic, such as "We kicked it, then I scored," "Soccer game," and "No Doubt," like Gwen Stefani's group. And it kind of brings down the vibe of the track for me. Like, I don't need lyrics to enjoy a rap song, but sometimes particularly bad or basic lyrics can pull down the track overall for me, and that's kind of what this does, which is a shame because Absol has great lyrics a lot of the time. I love Soul, but I'm just not a fan of what he did here. And at number 8, we have Drake with Preach featuring Party Next Door.
Pop one for you, drink one club. You young nigga preach.
So this song kicks off with the instrumental playing incredibly quietly. You can barely hear anything. As you can imagine, this makes you listen in closer. Maybe you even turn your volume up a few notches just to hear what's going on. Then, all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere at a pitch that will rip your ears apart.
Young nigga preach.
Jesus Christ, man, could we at least have been given a bit of warning? Now maybe this is just Party Next Door's style, but I'm really not too keen on the drenched in auto-tune sound that his vocals have here. And considering he does the chorus and has a verse as well, it's not that great. I much prefer what Drake does on this song, honestly. His calm, kind of monotone delivery works perfectly with a beat like this, and his flow is cool too. I'm not the biggest Drake fan, but this song would be a lot better without Party in my opinion. And at number 7, we have A$AP Rocky with Telephone Calls, where the feature was Playboy Carti.
I'ma bag your bitch, I'ma buy your bitch. I'ma cash shit, I'ma cash shit. Cash bill, cash card, bitch. Cash card.
I've got this one lower because Carti doesn't really play a significant role on this track, but his verse slows down the track enough for me to be bothered by it. The beat absolutely bumps, Rocky puts in a strong performance, and Tyler has one of the best verses he's laid down here in my opinion, at least in terms of flow. But Playboy Carti's bit was just so unnecessary in my opinion. I really could do without 15 to 20 seconds of Carti ad-libbing and delivering the least inventive lines he can think of. I just honestly feel like he doesn't need to be on here. If you feel like his verse adds to the hype or the vibe of the song, that's great. I'm glad that you enjoy it, but for me personally, it just didn't need to be in the song at all. And at number 6, we have Jameel Cole with The Cut Off featuring Kill Edward.
Yeah. Give me drink, give me smoke, give me high, let me float. I'm a cloud, coming down, put me down, gentle now. Give me drink, give me dope, bottom line.
This one is a bit odd to include, I'll admit that, because to some capacity, Kill Edward isn't really a feature as it's just Jafar Cole's alter ego. But I'm counting it because he is labelled as a feature and his segment of the track does ruin it in my opinion. Cole's verse is fantastic here, talking about wanting to cut off friends who just abuse his trust and use him. He even talks about how he sometimes fantasizes about hurting these people for how they betrayed him, but he knows that's not the right thing to do and he'll let karma do its work on them. Fantastic subject matter, but the hook of the song is done by Kill Edward, and the vocal effects he has on his voice just completely destroy his appeal for me. I kind of like the idea that Kill Edward is kind of like in this fractured mind state and that's why his vocals sound that way, but it's almost impossible to not sound off key with those effects, and that's how Kill Edward sounds on the pre-chorus and chorus of this song.
Time will tell who is on my side.
Top this off with the fact that he handles most of this track instead of Cole, and that stops me from listening to this track that often at all. The concept behind the character of Kill Edward is great, like I said, but I'd be perfectly satisfied if he didn't make a return. And at number 5, we have Pre by Earl Sweatshirt, where the feature was SK LaFleur.
Baby girl, what you wanna do? Hop in this 80s girl, she like where we going to? A new life, a new world. Pop that molly, we hard body.
This verse right here. I am not lying to you when I say this single verse is the reason I immediately turned off Sweatshirt's Doris album instantly the first 5 times I tried to listen to it, and I didn't revisit it for years. I missed out on the whole Doris album for a long ass time because of this verse, and because, 5 years ago I was incredibly close-minded to new music, so that's also kind of my fault, but still, this verse is partly to blame. I don't know what the thought process was behind having this as the opening verse on Earl's album. I don't know if SK actually raps often, or if they just thought this would be an entertaining way to open up the album and maybe mess with some fans. Odd Future do like to troll their fans now and then, but it's just incredibly off-putting. He uses this really dead-end flow that never picks up and just sounds stilted, and of course, it's got more than its fair share of simplistic lyrics. Then consider the fact that SK's verse is over 30 seconds longer than Earl's on this track, and it just seems really unnecessary. And at our 4th spot, we have Kendrick Lamar and J-Rock with King's Dead featuring La-di-da-di-da, Schlob on me knob.
La-di-da-di-da, slob on me now. Pass me some syrup, put me in the car. La-di-da-di-da, motherfucker law. GD bang.
Everyone knows this one, and I do appreciate the memes that came out of this.
But, he still fits, it's nice.
Slob on me now. Pass me some syrup.
But I'd be lying if I said that I feel like it didn't make the song a lot worse. It made me laugh my ass off when I first heard it, I'll admit that, but this song doesn't seem like it was made to be laughed at. J-Rock came in with a hard verse, Kendrick Lamar killed it on the hook and after the beat switch, but Future, I don't know what Future was doing. I guess I can't fully hate on it because it made the song more popular than it already would have been, but the la-di-da-di-da part of the song is so laughably bad, it sounded like Future's vocal cords were about to snap. On top of that, I'm just not a huge fan of most of his music, so I wasn't too excited to see him listed as a feature in the first place. Like I said, this is fun to laugh at, but I really feel like it messes with the whole energy and mood of the song, and that's the opposite of what you want to do with a guest verse. At our 3rd spot, we have Eminem with Amityville, which features Bizarre.
My little sister's birthday, she remembered me. gift I had telling my boy taking virginity. And bitches know me as a horny ass freak. Their mother wasn't raped.
I explained the main problem I have with some of Bizarre's rapping in an old video of mine, but in case you haven't seen it, it's basically the fact that he raps about the same type of content as Eminem, but without much of the wittiness or intelligence behind it. Eminem says some brutal stuff, but there's commonly a purpose behind what he says, whereas Bizarre is just pure shock value for no reason other than to shock, and that is shown in full force on this verse here. Like, I mean, full force. He talks about killing and raping family members, lovely. Having his little sister gang raped on her birthday, great. Just really shocking shit, but with no smartness to it. Then the fact that Eminem's third verse here is so ridiculously strong just makes Bizarre's low energy verse even less impressive than it already is. It just comes off as him trying too hard to surprise people more than anything. And at number 2 we have A Boogie with Drowning featuring Kodak Black.
Kodak bit on polo down like Carton. Sniper gang, I pull a nigga on the car. I'm the shit, I'm farting. I don't know how to party.
God damn, man. I almost love this track, and it actually would have been amazing if the hood version of Lisa Simpson didn't show up to ruin the party. For almost every rapper on this planet, I can see their appeal and why some people might enjoy them, but Kodak is always one that confuses me. The way he slurs his words with his very strange, kind of babyish sounding voice puts me off every single time I hear a verse from him. It's a shame because A Boogie kills this in my opinion. He rides that piano melody perfectly and his flow is something that really sticks with you. Then Kodak says, I'm the shit, I'm farting, I don't know how to potty. Do you see why that ruins the song for me? I want to replay this song a lot. I want to have it on repeat, but it's such a hassle when I have to constantly skip it after the 2-minute mark. Kodak has like one line on here that sounds pretty slick, but everything else is just something I can't listen to and enjoy. Hey Boogie, I'm begging you, just drop a solo version of this track. I need it. And at number 1 we have ASAP Ferg with East Coast Remix, where the feature is, well, I'll let you guess who the feature is.
Chain busting it down, wrist busting it down, yo bitch busting it down, rap game up fucking it now. I could be a jeweler, neck I slick the ruler.
Busta Rhymes, he went hard. ASAP Ferg, he went hard. Rocky, guess what? He went hard. Dave East, he went very hard. Rick Ross, he went harder than usual. Snoop Dogg, even the chillest man on planet Earth went hard on his verse here. And then, out of nowhere, he came along. Surely you knew at the start of this list that French Montana would be number 1, right? There really is no other competition. There is so many songs that he has absolutely ruined, and this track is the one that hurts the most for me personally. As you can tell from what I just said, every single other rapper on this track did a great job on their verses. French Montana was the only one that stood out as bad, completely murdering the momentum of the track and slowing it down to a crawl. The worst part is, he appears on the track right after Dave East, who just maybe had my favourite verse on this song with his aggressive tone. French didn't follow it up well at all. His flow couldn't be any more uninspired, and you just can't give a weak verse over a hard-ass beat like the one found on this song. Out of all the people Ferg could have chosen to feature on this remix, French probably shouldn't have been too high on that list, and his verse on here proves that. Well, that is going to be it for the video today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want, you can leave a like, and also if you want to, you can subscribe. But let me know down in the comments below if you agree what your own personal list for, this video would look like. And with all that being said, guys, that's all I got to say. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one, and this is CDTV Productions, signing out.